13th, 2022. C, approval of a renewal fermented malt beverage off-premise liquor license for Safeway Stores 46, Inc., DBA Safeway number 1892, located at 1580 East Main Street, Cortez. D, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for El Pancho Burro, LLC, DBA Gustavo's Authentic Mexican Restaurant, located at 125 East Main Street, A, Cortez. E, approval of a modification of premises, tasting permit, and renewal liquor license for West Slope Liquors, Inc., DBA West Slope Liquors, located at 2212 East Main Street, Suite 1, Cortez. And F, approval of a renewal tavern liquor license for Cortez Veterans, Inc., located at 320 North Harrison Street, Cortez.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Rainey.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, moving on to item 3, public participation. There's no time limit, or there's no limit to the number of speakers, although public comment will be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes for this session. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. Do we have any comment cards tonight? All right. Okay, we'll close the public participation section and move on to number 4, presentations. 4A is a proclamation of gratitude and appreciation for Terry McCabe and the Four Corners Board of Realtors and their work for the Parade of Lights. So I'll go ahead and read this proclamation. Proclamation of gratitude and appreciation for Terry McCabe. Whereas the Parade of Lights Christmas started 33 years ago by our Four Corners Board of Realtors members, Barbara Nutt and Jerry Parker, to bring a fun holiday tradition to Cortez. Miss Nutt and Miss Parker approached the city and received approval to have nighttime light parade. And whereas the first year the theme was Hometown Christmas and there were 8 floats. After 8 years, Realtor Ellie Courtney took over the tradition of organizing the Christmas parade with the continued help from Miss Parker. Miss Courtney ran the parade for 10 years and then passed the torch to Realtor Terry McCabe. And whereas Terry McCabe has hosted, produced, and organized the Cortez, Colorado event for 15 years, bringing families of all backgrounds together to celebrate the holidays and continue the nighttime lights parade tradition. And whereas Ms. McCabe's energy, passion, and holiday spirit has been vital to keeping the community holiday tradition going. And whereas City Council recognizes the contributions that Terry McCabe has had to the Cortez community. Now, therefore, it is duly noted and declared that the City of Cortez has immense gratitude and appreciation for Terry McCabe, and Cortez is a better place to live and work thanks to her efforts. Will witness my hand this 13th day of December 2022. And then we also have a gift for you. So if you'd like to come up. Here, I'll come around.
I'm really honored for this. I really appreciate it. But I want you to know that if it wasn't for the City of Cortez and the police department and everybody involved, Public Works, I mean, all the way down, John Brooks, Donna Thompson, everybody, they all do a good job. And I couldn't do it without the rest of the board. This Board of Realtors is awesome.
Thank you. It's been a great event for families, and it's something I look forward to every year. So, and thank you, staff, for helping make this event happen, and thank you to the Board of Realtors for a great event. So we appreciate it, and it adds color to our community. So, all right. Okay, so then we'll move on to 4B, 2022 Years of Services Award. So tonight we're going to honor all of our employees who have significant benchmarks in their years of service to Cortez.
Thank you, Council and Mayor. We don't have the greatest turnout tonight. I'm hoping that's because of the cold weather. I'd probably rather be home too, but thank you for the employees that did come tonight. Each year, we like to recognize the employees who hit milestone in their years that they have been with the city. The milestone years are 5, 10, 15, etc. This year, we have employees that have reached everything from 5 up to 30 years. Employees don't get enough recognition for the work they do each and every day, and they are what keep the city running smoothly 24/7, 365. So for that, I just want to say thank you. Tonight, we're going to start with the 5-year awards. So when I call your name, do you guys want to come down in front of the bench here and
Yeah.
kind of greet the employees? So if when I call your name, just come down in front of the bench here, greet however you guys are comfortable with, and then come by here and I'll give you a card and a pin.
Okay, and I just really want to commemorate our staff here. I mean, each one of you plays a vital role to our community, and your work makes a direct and indirect impact on our daily lives. And we are incredibly grateful to you and proud of our city, so you guys deserve this honor.
So the first employee is Ivana Shirley Keibel, 5 years. Thank you. I'll read the names of the other 5-year employees real quickly. It's Brenda Cunningham, Cheryl Lindquist, Lynette Reese, Valerie Rendon, Diane Roberts, LaDonna Robinson, Carl Scharnhorst, Isabella Sharpenstein, and that's it. The 10-year, thank you. 10-year milestone is Mike Moran and Sean Canada, and I don't believe either one of those guys are here. I just don't know if somebody snuck in while didn't see him. 15 years. 15 years, we do have Laura McHenry. Come on up. Thank you. And next is Josh Gritz. Appreciate you, buddy. Next, Lyle Bear. Of course I can. Appreciate you, buddy. Other 15-year employees include Shay Allred, MJ Reiki, and Bradley Harrison. Moving on to 20, Andrew Condon. Appreciate you, Mike. One other 20-year employee is Jason Higgins. With 25 years of service, and she couldn't make it tonight. She had other commitments, and thank her for letting me know. But that is Martha Robinson at the police department, and she plans to retire here real quickly. And 30 years of service is Linda Smith. You're welcome. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone.
All right, we're pretty lucky to have amazing people, dedicate their careers to the city and making it better. All right, so we'll move on to 4C on our agenda, the 2022 October financial statement. Kelly Koski, our finance director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. In your board packets this time were the financial statements for October of 2022, and just a couple of good news items to report. You'll notice that the airport enterprise is showing a healthy net revenue of 110% over projection, and that is through October, not through the end of the year. We also have the recreation center, who is coming on strong with a net revenue over 216% of projections. I think those are two outstanding departments that have excellent leadership. There are a lot of factors that have gone into that net revenue number, but I think the leadership that we have in those two enterprises is really telling, and a lot of hard work on their part. So congratulations to both of them. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a few questions.
Okay.
On the first page, we have the property taxes, the 500,000. Is that the total amount that's being withheld from us with the audits, or is that how much we generate yearly on property taxes?
No, that is actually the total amount that is being withheld in property taxes. Later in the evening, we'll be doing the mill levy certification, and so that will show the total amount that we are expecting to collect in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, let me see. Just a few items that we didn't budget anything for, but we do get revenue from. Are they just hard to predict? I just see like the school resource officer and then outdoor pool concessions and programs.
So the school resource officer is a program that went a little awry during COVID, and so they actually did not pay us for the resource officer last year. And I believe this year they made a double payment, or it looks like there was a double payment for that. The concessions at the swimming pool, we haven't necessarily done that annually, and so we really didn't know exactly what we should budget for that as we were going into the 2022 budget, but obviously the outdoor pool did very well this year.
Okay, and then and my last question is the email that we got about the conservation trust funds?
Correct.
Yeah, I guess, I didn't see a line for that at all in our budget, but that's normally something we get every year.
So the conservation trust funds are funds that are also being withheld by the state of Colorado. There is a department in there called CTF, and it only has the one line item of the budgeted revenue with no expenses, because we knew that we weren't going to be able to expend any of that, so,
Okay,
yeah.
great. Okay, that's just some clarifying questions
Sure.
I had.
No problem.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you, Kelly. And thank you, airport and park staff, for improving those revenue streams. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5 on the agenda, public hearings. We have none. Item 6 is unfinished business, none of that. So we're going to move on to 7, new business. 7A is Hope's Kitchen, request for donation.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. We were approached by Hope's Kitchen and asked to make a donation to the Christmas dinner this year for homeless individuals. So normally this would want to go through our regular grant process, but this certainly seems to be a worthy undertaking, and so staff is suggesting to council that you make an appropriation up to an amount of $1,000. That would come from the City Council Contingency Fund.
Any discussion? How do people feel?
It was stated in the memo that you all provided some education around the need for them to apply through the regular process for the next time around.
Yeah, that's correct, and we helped them through that, and so next year we would expect to see that, yes.
Okay.
However, given the circumstances out there, that's why staff is suggesting to council or recommending to council that we at least contribute this year. It's a minimal amount, and I think it has a big impact, so.
Do we normally expend our entire contingency fund for council?
The answer to that is it depends. This year you have not.
Well, I think this is a great opportunity to help them, and if we have the funds, I'd recommend, the full $1,000. So, does anyone have a motion on what they'd like to?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to make a donation in support of the Cortez Community Christmas Dinner via Hope's Kitchen.
Second.
Could we get an amount added to that
Yeah,
motion?
to the amount of $1,000.
Second.
Motion made by Kiefhoffer and seconded by Rainey.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Spurl,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you, Jean. Thank you so much. And Mary?
We're expecting to serve a record number of people. The Thanksgiving meal served more meals than they have ever before. So this will help us be able to feed the extra people.
Great. So I'll share that with the public. So Hope's Kitchen served more meals this Thanksgiving than they ever have, and so they anticipate similar numbers for Christmas. So this will make a huge difference. And thank you. And I'm sure, do you need volunteers?
We're actually pretty good on volunteers.
Okay, great. They're good on volunteers, so. All right, well, thank you, Jean, for reaching out. All right, so then we'll move on to 7B on our agenda, the 2023 Cortez Community Support Grant, presented by Drew.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, as you mentioned, this is regarding passage of the Community Support Grant. So in years past, we have always come up with an amount that the council decides on grant applications on who to give community support grants to. This year, we switched it up a little bit at the suggestion of council and formed a committee to look that over and then come in with recommendations for the council. The committee this year comprised of Councilmember Kefauver, Councilmember Spruill, Director of Finance Kelly Koski, Executive Assistant Wendy Mimiaga, and myself. We met and went over all 10 applications is all we received this year, and there is a spreadsheet that was provided to council that shows what those are, and of those, the amount budgeted was $37,380. The amount that the committee is recommending to council to disperse is $29,380. And so all of those 10 fit the criteria for receiving a grant, and staff, as well as this committee, is recommending to council to disperse these funds as recommended.
Just a clarification, so there were only 10 applicants, so each applicant is getting an amount?
Correct, and in the packet, there's actually a spreadsheet right there
Just making
that,
sure.
yeah, so every applicant that applied this year qualified and was awarded, or, we suggest an amount.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, I noticed that the two new applicants, the suggestion is to award half of the asking amount and just to see what they do with the funds. Is that typical in other years that the city's done with new applicants?
That actually is very typical.
Okay.
And, generally they get awarded, again, it's actually kind of like foundations, and I sit on a foundation that we award scholarships, and that's very common practice for us as well. So I've seen it many, many places, and in this case, I think there was some wisdom to that. Let's see how they do, and if they come back having expended those funds appropriately, let's give them some more and encourage that behavior.
I think probably the most surprising thing for me, having been through that process numerous times, is that some of the local nonprofits that we typically would see ask for money didn't apply. So, for example, like the Cultural Center, it's the only example I can think of off the top of my head. But it seemed like a really fair and equitable, it was a fairly easy process with just 10 applicants.
And I can tell you from being on the bridge board that they didn't feel that they needed the funds this year, and so they wanted to make sure that it could go to other places.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that it's nice to see there's 2 new entities on there, and I'm personally an advocate for the Indigenous Wild Variety Program that they had applied for funding. So I'm glad that we're able to support a very needed service. All of these are very needed services, but I think that this Indigenous Wild Variety is something like a different service that hasn't been historically offered in the past. So I'm glad to see that they had applied and that we were able to give them something.
Well, and I really want to thank Dennis and Matt for your time doing this. This is our first time trying it this way, and I hope it went well. I really appreciate your guys' time on this, and I also love this summary that Wendy put together. Makes it really easy
she did a good job.
Yeah. So thank you all for your work.
Can I ask, was it clearly written that they would need to do a presentation?
Yes, that's in the application.
Okay, I don't want anybody to be caught off guard
Yeah,
this time around.
I agree.
So
Thanks for asking that.
Yeah, with that, I'll make a motion to approve the 2023 Cortez Community Support Grant Awards as determined by the selection committee.
Second.
Motion made by Yazzie and seconded by DeHaven.
Dobry,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Kefauver,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. And just for an FYI for the public, if they want to see how much each, what organizations applied and how much each got, it's in our, a packet on our city website. So, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to 7C, council members' participation in the RFP selection process for land use code update. Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought that was
No,
my
go
cue to
ahead,
start. I apologize to walk
I'm just
on you there,
excited
Mayor.
about this.
Yeah, this is a step forward. So Rachel Marchbanks has, in conjunction with our General Services Department, prepared a request for a proposal that went out over a week ago, or around a week ago, I guess. And we expect that to be answered and applications received by mid-January, but we are wanting to follow a similar process as the community support grants in that we have a selection committee, and staff is recommending 2 council members to sit on that and help us make that selection. The time commitment will be at least 1 full day for interviews and so on with that, and then there's liable to be at least 2 to 3 hours at another meeting at some point, convenient to council, that, you know, where we would go over applicants ahead of time, screen that, depending on how many we got.
Okay.
So it is a little bit of a time commitment.
Right. So I guess amongst council members, we got to decide who, which 2 of us are interested. I know I am, but if there are 2 other council members interested, you know, I'm willing to step back.
I would be willing to volunteer.
Okay,
I'd be willing to volunteer as well.
okay.
I as well.
All right, all of us are interested,
I
so.
was also interested.
Hey, we'll take you all.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I guess where do we go from here, Drew? I guess maybe it depends on people's schedule, or,
Yeah, I mean, like I'm only partly kidding that we would take you all, but I think it's most appropriate to only have 2 and versus a, you know, a majority of council. And I hate to say this, council, I feel like you all need to make that decision.
Could we have 2 primaries and then 2 backups, just in case?
I think that would be a really good idea, council member.
Okay, I wouldn't mind being a primary.
Okay, I'll be a backup.
I will also be a backup.
I guess I'm a primary.
go ahead, Robert. I trust you also.
So, Madam Mayor, this one time on Gilligan's Island, they drew straws. I'm just saying, I remember that episode really well.
Might be a good idea. What, go ahead, yeah, I think either of you, you know, and Arlena. Okay, all right, so then we'll have Robert and Arlena.
Are the primaries?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm learning to say no. It's very hard for me, so I'm growing.
And then sorry, Mayor, and the 2 backups were you and Councilmember DeHaven?
Dennis
Dennis,
and
okay.
Councilmember DeHaven.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being so willing. You know, I think it shows that we're really excited. I mean, that was our main priority when we did our council retreat, is we know our land use code needs to be updated. And I think it just shows that we're all kind of excited that this process is moving forward. And thank you, Rachel. All right, on to that? Okay, so then we'll move on to 7D, our 2023 joint chemical bid, presented by Rick Smith, our General Services Director.
Good evening, council. It's that time of the year for our annual chemical bid. This year, the participants were the town of Dolores, town of Mancos, Montezuma Water, and the city of Cortez. We did ask the sanitation district, but they declined to participate. As you know, by combining these quantities, that gives us a cost savings for each of the plants. The bid opening was held on November 16th with 10 responses. And as tradition, we award these on an individual basis by vendor and by the type of chemical. We've attached a tabulation sheet showing the responsible bidder for each item and the total amount for the city. And you might note that The city's amount is $345,319.43. And talking to Randy, I'm sure that this reflects the reality of everything going up. I think last year it was in the 270s number, but it's just the cost of running a plant. Also, just as a note, all the other entities are responsible for awarding their own chemicals and paying for it and whatnot. So the 345 number is just for the city of Cortez.
Can I ask, does the sanitation district usually participate?
I'm sorry?
Does the sanitation district, do they usually participate in the bid, or in the shared?
They used to years ago. It's been probably 3 or 4 years that they have not. And I don't know if it's just because they use different chemicals or have a certain thing they like to do. They didn't elaborate.
All right, and you answered my question, because I was curious if we front all of the money for it, or if, that's just our portion.
Right.
Okay.
As I stated that they'll be responsible for ordering, and the vendor bills them directly. So this number of 345 is just for the city.
Okay. I guess, how is it a joint chemical bid?
What's that?
How is it a joint chemical bid if we all pay our own?
We just combine the quantities and then send out the bid and then award it based on the individual item, and we share that with the other entities. And but it's up to them if they want to follow that or do something different. But so far, they pretty much follow what our bid is.
Okay. Thanks, Rick.
I think it's a really great partnership that's been going on for a really long time, and it makes a lot of sense when you're using similar chemicals and municipalities can work together. So, it's really, I think, one of those rare occasions where we can really find quick common ground and something that's really practical for the city and the other municipalities as well.
All right, do we have a motion on this?
I move that we award the 2023 joint chemical bid to the highlighted vendors for a total bid for the city of Cortez of $345,319.43.
Second.
All right, motion made by Dobry and seconded by Yazzie.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, we're moving on to 7E on our agenda, the 2023 Welcome Center janitorial bid. Rick Smith?
Good evening again, Council. We were approached by the staff at the Colorado Welcome Center to rebid the janitorial services for that building. And as you might recall, that's a city building, so we did bid it out. We did receive the bids on December 1st. We received 2 responses to our bid request, Redfin Janitorial and Sparkle. The current janitorial service, Monica's, did not answer the bid. So the low responsible bidder is Redfin at $21,500 for the year, and it is budgeted in the city budget.
Have we worked with this company before?
Redfin had the contract prior to Monica having it.
Okay, great. Any questions from council?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to award the 2023 Welcome Center janitorial contract to Redfin Janitorial at the bid amount of $21,500.
Second.
Motion made by Kiefhoffer and seconded by Rainey.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, we're going to move on to 7F, a resolution number 26, series 2022. It's a possible adoption of our 2023 fee schedule, presented by Linda Smith, our city clerk.
Good evening, City Council. In your packet tonight is the proposed fees for 2023. Each of the changes that were recommended were discussed in each of the departments with their individual employees, and you've received a side-by-side version. The red shows the changes that were being recommended tonight, and then on the other side it shows the fees that are current. There are employees in the audience that are here to answer questions should you have any on the individual departments. I did want to just give a big shout out to Deputy City Clerk Donna Murphy. She compiled this beautiful fee resolution. She did a great job. Last year we sort of threw it together at last minute to put them all in one resolution, and she did a great job on making it easy to follow, easy to see which department is which. So I just want to tell her thank you for the great job on that. So if you have any questions, I can answer the city clerk part that shows the open records fee that's changed, which is state statute, and that we've just increasing it to that number. But I think the rest of the fees would best be answered by the others if you have any questions.
I have a question for Creighton on the promotional rate. Sorry, Linda.
That's great.
On the promotional rate for 2023, can you just kind of explain what your hopes are with that? I mean, obviously it's promotional, but I'd like to maybe get a little bit more insight.
Good evening, council members. Councilmember Yazzie, the promotional rate for the instructors, the intent is to bring instructors and classes back to the Recreation Center this next year, 2023. We've been fortunate in that we've added already 3 new instructors even before we've gotten into 23, and several, I think we're up to 7 new classes now. So the intent is to continue to add on to that moving into 2023, and then reevaluate towards the end of the year and consider going back to what our typical class instructor split is, which is 70% for the instructor, 30% for the city.
Sorry, I have some questions for you. Okay, so have the passes always been discounted after July 8th? Like, you mean like a rec center pass? Or what is
I believe
this?
that's the golf passes?
Oh, I'm looking under golf. Okay, never mind, sorry. I think the addition of a shower fee is a good idea.
So we've charged a shower fee for a couple of years, it wasn't on the fee schedule.
Wasn't official, okay. Yeah, I guess that's mostly golf. Okay, thank you. And then Brian, could you come and speak to the refuse increase? Sure. And Colby?
Okay, Madam Mayor, Council. So I think as most of you know, we've had to increase the refuse rates by 22% this year. Most of that is for the 4 new vehicles that we need to upgrade our fleet. There's also increases in solid waste disposal and operating supplies, and that's the reason for that. If you have any other questions, I'm certainly open, or Colby, to answer.
I think I just wanted to highlight that for the community, because I know there's been a lot of talk about that, and you know, we approved the lease for the trucks, and this is how we're going to fund it? Yeah. Okay. So.
Just reiterating that our rates will still be less than the market average around here.
That's correct.
Okay.
Great.
Did you actually do a canvass of the other areas to see what they were charging?
We did a canvass of Montezuma County. to see what the local rates were between 3 different carriers.
Okay. I guess my question is other cities charging the same amount for their refuge? It says they're slightly lower. How do we come up with it was slightly lower?
So that was based on our fee schedule, Montezuma County. So with Montezuma County landfill rates and what the locals in our area charge, it's hard to get apples to apples if you go outside and look at other cities, because it really depends on what their landfills, what their recycling rates, what have you. There's a lot to go to.
Yeah, because this is a service that the Dolores and Mancos don't provide for their communities. Yeah, so it's, well, thank you. I appreciate, and you know, just, I know times are hard and things are costing more, but this is kind of what we have to do to be better armed for the future, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a really quick question. I think maybe it's for Brian about tap fees. Are those typical for our area as well? For like, I guess, I don't even know what I'm saying. A residential size, would that be like a 1-inch?
I believe they are, but I can get you more
Okay.
information afterwards.
Okay. I just wasn't aware, or wasn't sure whether or not we are in line with some of the municipalities around us in terms of the tap fees. And my thought on that, or the idea really, is just like, are we making sure that we're not making some bigger developments cost prohibitive with a tap fee?
I believe we are in line, but I'll get you some more information on that.
And then this doesn't include outside the city, but is that just typically this cost plus 50%? I can't remember what it was. We don't have many out-of-city taps, but.
No, and I'll have to get you more information on that.
Okay. So. Well, thanks for this great graphic, Donna. This is extremely helpful.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution Number 26, Series 2022, adopting the 2023 fee schedule for the City of Cortez effective January 1st, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by DeHaven and seconded by Spruill.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer, Medina.
Aye. All right, we're moving on to item 7G, Resolution Number 32, Series 2022, presented by Kelly Koski, our Director of Finance.
Good evening again, Mayor and City Council members. You'll find in your packet Resolution Number 32, Series 2022, which is the mill levy certification for the 2023 year. This is a certification that we do annually. The form itself goes back to Montezuma County Administrator. The process starts by the county sending us the top number that is on that form, the gross assessed valuation, which this year was $93,707,080. So that is our starting point. From then, we plug in the numbers on the second worksheet that you have available in your packet, and that is our Tabor limit worksheet to make sure that we are not overcharging or that we are in compliance with the Tabor regulations within the state of Colorado. You'll see the final mill levy that we'll be certifying to the county is 1.234 mills, and the total that we expect to be collected in 2023 is $115,000. That's $115,676.
Do you know if that's more or less than what last year's was?
You know, it's actually more by about $5,000 or so. Along with the Tabor revenue calculation, there is an inflation factor, which last year was only 1.9%, and this year that inflation factor was 3.4. That's based off of the CPI index of the Aurora, Denver area as of June 30. So it is a bit more.
And not the inflation, like as of recently, like not the inflation rate as of recently.
No, it's actually a year prior, so it's not even the June 22 Aurora CPI index, it's actually the 21. So with all of the certifications, it basically takes a year to flow through your revenue stream before you actually really are at the point where inflation would actually be correct.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 32, Series 2022, certification of the 2023 mill levy.
Second.
All right, motion made by Rainey and seconded by Dobry.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie, Kefauver,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Spurl,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you, Kelly. All right, so we're on 7H of our agenda, the 2023 Independent Contract Addendum for Burkett Company LLC, presented by Drew Sanders.
Correct, Mayor and Council. So it's time to request renewal of our contract with the Burkett Company. Chris Burkett is still here, and we have him officially as the grant writer, and he still does a lot of that, even though we have our own grant administrator now. But what we have found is that Chris does not only provide grant writing services, but he is invaluable to both the Economic Development Departments and the Parks Department. I mean, he literally built the parks here, so he literally knows where everything's buried. But it's just been a huge asset to us. As you talk to the directors of those two respective departments, they feel that they would be seriously hampered if they were not allowed access in this manner to Chris Burkett. I personally use him occasionally for things as well, and he is just a marvelous asset. It is cheap. We only paid about $13,000 this year for a year's worth of, I mean, he wasn't here full time, but he was worth more than what we paid him. How's that? So we are recommending that we renew that contract again so that we can have access to that resource.
Well, I want to thank you, Chris, for willing to still dedicate your time to us. Your knowledge is invaluable, and hopefully we still leave you enough time to go fly fishing. So,
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that the council approves the addendum to the independent contract agreement between the City of Cortez and Burkett Company LLC, continuing the agreement through the 2023 calendar year.
Second.
all right, motion made by Yazzie and seconded by Dobry.
Yazzie,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Kefauver,
Aye.
Spurl,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you, Chris. We appreciate it. All right, so we are done with our new business. We're going to move on. Item 8, no draft resolutions or ordinances. Item 9 on our agenda, city attorney report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you, and I do not have a report. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Pat. All right, item 10, city manager report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I've got 3 items to report to the council this evening. First is the launch of our new website. This is something that's been, we have anticipated for well over a year. There's been an awful lot of work done by many people on this, but the launch date for this is actually tomorrow, Wednesday, December 14th. The launch will take the bulk of the day, and there will be temporary limitations on access to some of the information on the site during that time frame. Once launched, the quality control process will occur. This is really just a soft launch, and there's probably going to be some issues like we would expect, but we have a plan to be on top of that. And we expect this new website to be fully functional almost by tomorrow afternoon. So we want to let you and the public know that, and then to request patience while that transition occurs. Secondly, the airport master plan is being rolled out. There is a public open house to roll out this proposed new master plan that will occur from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tomorrow, December 14th, in this room. This is an opportunity for not only to see the proposed plan, but to offer input, and we're suggesting that the public, or those certainly interested, come here, look that over, and offer comments about the future of our airport. Light refreshments will be served. Lastly, release of impounded property tax dollars. Our Kelly Koski kind of danced around this just a little bit tonight, but we're just going to throw it out there on the table. So I just want to invite your recollection, as been discussed earlier tonight, that we have impounded property tax dollars at the county treasurer's office. Kelly and her team reached out to the state auditor's office, since we are up through our high-risk areas of 19, and requested that those fees be released. They agreed, and they're in the process of releasing those funds up through the 2019 fiscal year. Now, it's not a huge amount of money we're getting, but Mayor and Council, this is symbolic. This is pure progress that we have made, and now the state auditor agrees with that, to the point that we're having those tax dollars released. So I would like to commend again our finance team and just show appreciation for what they're doing, and this symbolic gesture is yet another move forward in hopefully regaining that public trust of not only you all, Council, but our community. That's all I have. Any questions?
I just want to highlight what an awesome staff we have. Thank you, Creighton and Rachel, and everyone who's been a part of the website. Thank you, Kelly, and your team. Like, we're moving forward on the audit stuff. Like, this is great. Makes me really proud.
How do we access that website?
I'm sorry, Council Member?
How do we access the website?
Okay, so the new website is the same address. It's just, you'll pull up the exact same address. It'll just be the new website starting tomorrow. We're only requesting maybe give it till tomorrow afternoon, and you probably won't see it until then. But that's when it's going to come up. And by the way, our Rachel Marchbanks and Creighton Wright will be doing a formal rollout and kind of showing some of the features and stuff in one of the first, or in the January council meeting. So.
And does MJ and like our front desk know this is happening in case they get phone calls tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Can I ask real quick, have we publicized the airport master plan rollout?
It has. There's been press releases. It's gone out on social media and through the aviation community.
Awesome.
Pardon me? Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. We also put a comment section on the ClearGov that people could weigh in on.
Awesome. And a big kudos to airport manager Jeremy Patton, too.
Correct. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to City Council committee reports. I'll do the mayor's report. So we had a workshop tonight. We had a presentation by George Cheney and the Animas View Mobile Home Park Co-op Board. They presented on resident-owned co-ops as an option for purchasing mobile home parks. It was a worthy presentation that it's really hard for me to summarize, but I recommend the public go and watch our workshop. You can learn a ton, and if we can help any of our community members, purchase their own mobile home park, I think that'd be a great win for those in our community. Okay, and then we'll move on to other board reports. We'll start on this end. Lydia, do you have any?
I don't have anything to report.
I don't either. The historic preservation was canceled for December, but we'll be back in January.
Great.
I have no golf course report, other than I was out there the other day, and they do have the new greens covered up with a tarp now that keeps the snow rot away, and it looks good, looks really good. So this spring, we're going to fire up.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. Okay, Arlena?
I have no board reports.
As do I, have no.
Okay. How about you, Matt?
We're going to forego our meeting in December, but we'll be back in January.
Perfect. All right. Okay, moving on. We've got other items of business. We've got an executive session tonight. So we'll need a motion to move into executive session.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiation, strategies for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators pursuant to CRS Section 24-6-4024EI. The topic of the executive session will be an update on the negotiations of the possible sale or lease of the Cortez Community Fiber Network.
Second.
A motion made by Dobry and seconded by Yazzie.
Dobry,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer, Spurl,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
For those of you I don't expect you to stick around, but thank you for spending time here tonight. We appreciate it. But we do have another public participant.
All right. So no adoption of any policy. So we're going to move on to the next agenda item, which is public participation. Oh, sorry, I always forget. Okay. So the time is now 9:28 p.m., and the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were myself, Rachel Medina. Hold on, I wrote this all down. Arlena Yazzie, Dennis Spruill, Matt Kiefhofer, Robert Dobry, Kelly Koski, David Rainey, Pat Coleman, Rick Smith, Drew Sanders, and Lydia DeHaven. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meeting law, I ask that you state your concern for the record. Okay? Is that? All right, now next agenda item is public participation, number 13 on our agenda. Seeing no one from the public in our audience, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by DeHaven.
Kiefhofer,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays, yes.